Well, hello, my cool whip dollops. Today I'm talking about the Washington State Taekwondo Championship. Big deal. I was 13 years old and I was in this championship. Of course, it's based upon age groups and belt ranks. I was not actually a black belt, but they put me in the black belt division because I was a junior black belt, a Beau Dan. You ever hear first Dan, second Dan? They actually had a Beau Dan, which is hilarious because of course my name is Beau and I had a Beau Dan. Oh wow. There were two parts to this tournament. One was forms, or if you're from a karate background, they're katas. Basically little dance routines that you do. We did so many of these things. It really was the most boring part of martial arts. And I understand the reason to why you do forms and katas, and that's to, you know, condition the techniques, and all you have to do is apply these punches that you're throwing in the air. You just have to apply those to a real life scenario in case you're attacked. Well, as we know, with forms, they're not perfect. But there are so many martial arts that treat them as this is what you do, and if you practice these, you are good to go. That is a lie from the devil. Well, not the devil, he's not really interested in those things. But that's a lie, it's not true. Sparring is so important. That is how you learn distance management. You can't simulate that in a kata. That's how you learn a speed. You know, you can try to be fast, but unless you actually have a target that you're aiming at, you know, you see so many katas and forms and they're just like these wussy punches. Awful, awful. Speed, timing, distance, self-control. There's a whole host of reasons why katas are inferior to sparring. But that's okay, because at this tournament, they had another section, which was sparring. I did both. The form that I did was form choreo, and I still remember it to this day. Matter of fact, that's the only form that I actually remember, because I drilled it so many times. And there were these silly techniques incorporated into this form, like I would never, ever use this in a real street fight scenario. Don't you love when people say that? But it's like, you know, you reach down and you grasp their groin and then you rip it back up and you pull it out, and it's just like, no, that's ridiculous. No one's gonna fight like that unless maybe you're fighting a naked guy with a very easily detachable region. Anyway, I'm getting very graphic here. You may want to know how I did. I didn't do very well, at least in the katas, in the forms. It's because I was so nervous. I didn't deal with nerves very well. I really didn't, but wow, I was shaking. I was so nervous. You know, as you know, I hate competition, let alone Washington State competition. All of Washington State. Wow. I just remember sitting there with this awful feeling in my stomach. Just, it's just like, when is this going to be over? But I got up there and I did my form and I pushed through it, and I didn't get any medals or anything like that. But I did get a medal for sparring. You see, I'm a scrawny kind of guy, and I fight very fast, or at least I used to. Now, I don't know. We'll see with a few tournaments coming up. Yes, I just signed up for a karate tournament after 14 or 15 years being in one. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun, and I'm kind of nervous. Oh, I'm getting nervous again. Oh, well, this Washington State tournament was horrible in the kata area, but the sparring, I was paired with this one guy who was just a brute, and His kicks were hard, and he was ruthless, and he was just out there not to score points, but this was a brawl for him. He was out to hurt someone, and it did hurt quite a bit. My emotions finally did catch up with me, and during the break, there's a break during the match, my eyes welled up with tears. Give me some slack, okay? I was a scrawny little 13-year-old who was prone to lots of stress and pressure at this moment in my life. But yeah, I remember welling up a little bit, and my sensei, well, not my sensei, that's karate. Different martial art. My Master Lutke, I remember him standing on the side of the ring, and he just held my wrists and just shook them. And I remember my arms just shaking like this. I think he was just trying to distract me, and he's like, "You're doing great, Beau. You're doing great." And this guy had me by like 40 or 50 pounds. Oh man. But he was a better fighter. I'm not gonna try to glamorize it, or what's the word? Sugarcoat it and say, "Oh, I had a chance." No, I didn't have a chance. This guy was a much better fighter than I was. But you know those situations that God puts you in that are painful, and you're just like, "Okay, God, why are you doing this? What's going on here? I know you're all powerful. Are you just like really evil or something?" It's because the short answer is there's more to life. There's more to life than Taekwondo tournaments. There's more to life than cancer. And I know that sounds really harsh, like, and don't tell this to someone who's died from cancer or their family members. That's not how you grieve. Hey, you know, look at the big picture and you'll feel better. That's not what I'm getting at. The point is that this life that we're living in, I view it as temporary. And that's what the Bible says, and I just believe that. We are aliens in this world, and yet we are citizens of a different region. And that's what it says in Ephesians, which, by the way, is my favorite book in the Bible. Pretty sweet. So why am I happy that I got out by this brute who beat me to a pulp? No, not to a pulp. I wasn't bleeding or anything. That's the cool thing about Taekwondo, in case you've never seen it before. They have a lot of pads on. Yeah, pretty neat. However, I had never sparred with kicks to the head. And because I was in the black belt division, and I've never ever sparred in a black belt division in my life, they allowed kicks to the head. So I was getting hit on the side. And if you've ever been kicked in the head, it really makes you like dizzy. And you're probably thinking, that's why he's not all there. Now I understand. No, believe me, I'm all here. Just eccentric. So I got kicked in the head and I was happy. Why was I happy? Because the next guy who fought was this skinny Korean fellow, and he was one of the best martial artists I have ever seen. I really would have been distraught if I was paired up against him. Let me tell you how this guy fought. Everything was a counter. So, a countering someone's move, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. Let me give you an example. This brute guy who beat me went up against this guy, and every time he'd throw like a roundhouse, this guy was so fast, he would block and instantly deliver another kick. So fast, like that. Oh, it was so cool to watch. And I was just thinking, man, I would have got beat so bad by this guy. He is way out of my league. He was a true black belt. So often you see these kids who get black belts, and you're just like, you just got a black belt because you put in the time and you paid for it. Your technique is awful. Go back to yellow belt. I know that sounds really harsh. Grace, Beau, grace. It's all about grace and love. There's more to martial arts. So this guy who beat me, he lost to this other guy. And now it was his turn to cry. But he was crying because he was so angry. He was livid. Okay, you remember that scene in Karate Kid where, what's the villain's name? The guy who fights with the cobras? I'm forgetting it. But he just gets really angry and he's just like, that's what it was like, only in real life. Dude, this guy got so whooped. And so that means that the skinny Korean fellow, he got first place, which was well worth it. Best martial artist I've seen live. And he was in my age group too. Dude, this guy had a bright future. And then the second place went to this other kid who beat me. And then third place, bronze medal, went to me. And that is how I got a bronze medal at the Washington State Taekwondo Championship.